when you don't know something, be humble enough to accept that you don't know the thing. Then about Blord, have you read the charges against Blord? I can bet you that you've not read the charges.
No. I read the charges against Blord.
What was he accused of? What was he accused of?
One of the charges that was against Blord was the use of the face of Verydarkman to do billboard.
No.
Is that
okay.
a charge?
Which was
is that a charge?
It's not,
yeah,
it's not
using somebody's identity. Using somebody's identity.
It's not even true. He was accused
using somebody's identity to do advert.
He was accused of copyright infringement, which does not exist. You see, this is why you should, when you stand on the internet, make sure that you know what you are saying. Not because you have a camera, just come and say somebody is you can't call somebody a criminal. Well, you can call somebody a criminal because it's a loose word to describe somebody who has committed. Wait. Can you calm down? Can you calm down?
Yes.
You cannot assume until the person has been adjudged a criminal that the person has committed a crime. And if he committed a crime, let's assume he committed a crime. Is it proper for him to be adjudged guilty before the trial is over? Why do you think the judge came back and granted him bail and recused herself? Why? Have you asked yourself? The Blord that you said is a criminal. Why do you think the judge came and said, I'm not doing this case anymore? You just sat down there, with all authority. You just start pronouncing judgments on things you have little or no idea. I ask you now, do you know the name of the guy who insulted Elumelu? You don't know, but you heard. Do you know where he's detained? You don't know. Do you know what has happened to the case? You don't know.
Why?
But you are here.
I didn't pay attention to his name. I didn't pay attention to his name because it was not necessary.
You are saying here.
But on this issue of VDM.
Wait. You are saying here authoritatively that you know two people that I stood for who have committed crime, but you don't know one of them at all. You don't know where he's detained. You don't know which crime he committed. That's
not just two.
One.
The second one, you also mentioned Tuma.
You said is Blord.
We know when Tuma was trending.
Have you seen the charges?
Published video.
No. Yeah.
Hold on. I think what I wanted to ask that would have...
You don't know the person.
I have seen the charges.
Committed a crime.
Just a minute, sir.
Caesar. You don't know the person who offended Elumelu. You don't.
Please, sir. What I want
you just assume because you have been overwatching videos.
What I wanted,
somebody has committed a crime.
Like I said, I don't go to. I don't know the person. Ask his name because I don't want to know.
Do you know the person who committed a crime against Elumelu? I ask you again. You don't know his name or her name.
Sir, what I wanted to impute in this regards that would have addressed this is, I think, is rooted in also...
What has the name got to do with the act itself?
Hold on.
The reason I'm saying that is I'm not a lawyer.
What I'm trying to say is...
Anybody at all that committed a crime. Do you know that?
What I want to add in this regard that would have cleared this...
Do you know that they could have just formulated a story that somebody committed a crime and no crime was committed? There's no victim, no criminal. Do you know that?
For we to have been able...
And that is why society must be on guard to ensure that we don't lose our sense of responsibility and justice, so that a person... Look, let me tell you something. In 1990,
I think both of you are talking at the same time. And
listen.
Your voices are clashing.
Caesar, in 1998, I was arrested and put with criminals at SARS. 1998. I went
I'm here.
To a protest at the University of Lagos. Nuga 98. When we got to inside where they put all these SARS armed robbers, we found a 17-year-old boy there. We got upset. What are you doing here? Why did he... The boy told us that the person who committed the crime has paid the police. And the police came and took him so that he will stand in prison, in detention for the person. The man is still robbing outside. So when you make these assumptions, be very clear. You just say, oh, I know two people you stood for who have committed crime. One of them, you don't know. You just assume. The second is Blord. We ask you, have you seen the charges? You say, oh, he used somebody's face on billboard. And so is that a crime? You don't know. The charges they filed against him, they couldn't defend it. Maybe the judge read the thing and the judge said, I am not doing this case anymore. Do you know that the case has now been taken to another judge, and the judge that's handling the new judge might even demand for they might have to go and amend the charges because the charges were so horrible. The judge probably look at it and say, we all know what this is all about now. But I understand it's exactly the problem with some of us Nigerians. We don't hate oppression. We just don't like it when it happens to the person. We like it when it happens to the person we don't like, but we don't like it when it happens to the person we like. And I say that because this assigning criminality to people had happened to even the person that jailed Blord before. On 2 occasions that I intervened on his behalf. What was he accused of? Criminal activities. Criminal activities. They say he defamed some people, Yabo, Joe, and the rest of them. Put him in prison. We went there and said, come on now. Where did the case go since that time? When the EFCC went and carried him from a bank and blindfolded him, we went and told the EFCC, you have no right to do that. Where is the case today? He was not even charged by the EFCC for any crime. I'm talking about Verydarkman. So when you guys sit there and just assume, that because you have a ring light and you have a phone, you can just pronounce that you are the almighty owner of the world and heavens, and that whomever you declare a criminal is a criminal, and whomever you wish should be destroyed. Think twice, because it's coming your way one day. You don't even know who offended Elumelu. You don't know the person. You don't know if there's any crime, there's any victim. Let me tell you, we have been asking for over a week now. The police said they don't even have anybody in detention. That's what the police is telling. We asked DSS. DSS said they don't have anybody in detention. I called the UPA spokesperson and said, guy, what's happening with this Elumelu? Where did you guys put the guy? The guy said, did you see my name in the press release? I'm not the one who wrote it. Go and ask for the person who wrote the press release. The UBA person who wrote the press release about Elumelu's case is not even the official spokesperson. Have you asked why is all these discrepancies? You don't know.
Sir, I wanted to add this one part of it. I think that would have helped seriously. I think there's a problem in regards people being able to distinguish between civil offenses and criminal offenses.
That's true.
Until that's people, true. And that is why I was deliberate in regards asking that question. By the time you are able, I wish a lawyer was here. By the time you are able to distinguish between civil and criminal offenses, you will now know that these are 2 different entities, and the approach towards addressing these issues differs.
Do you get it? Completely.
But the fact is, people don't understand this. The problem is not even in you knowing the name of the person that was detained, but rather the problem is embedded in the fact that there's a problem in the sense that people don't know the difference.
Thank you. Just like you rightly pointed out, I didn't need to be a lawyer. I didn't need to be a lawyer to understand the difference between a criminal case and a civil case. I did criminology and security studies, and I have background in law.
I don't want attention on Caesar now. I think Caesar has asked his 2 questions. I think we have to ask from another person.
Simon, sorry, so that you could proceed, okay?
Am I right?
I don't need to be a lawyer to understand the difference between a civil case and a criminal case, okay? When it comes to issue of defamation squarely is a civil case. And how do you handle civil cases? You go to court, okay?
Yes.
But it is now left for the court. It is now left for the court. Hold on now. It is now left for the court to handle the case the way they want. If they invite a defendant and the person fails to turn up, okay? So it is not like Blord, for instance, was arrested from the first instance and detained in the police. No, that was not how it all started. From the information available to the public, for the information that is available to the public, we could confirm.
You are even lying. You are lying.
Anyway, let us.
Blord was arrested twice. Blord was arrested twice.
And he's playing it very, very well.
So
I think we should move to another person.
Anyway, let's not focus on this.
Was arrested
let's focus on the first part of the question that I asked.
By the time they arrested him, the second
because on this particular area now, we may not have
two senior
we may not
servants.
agree.
Blord was arrested twice.
We may not agree on this particular area. Please, let's go to the part. Let's go to the part that affects Nigerians.
I'm not arguing with you because you asked the question.
Yes, let's go to the part that has to do with your presidential
I'm educating you because of others who are listening to you. Because you are speaking authoritatively about something you have no knowledge about. And you are here lying. You are here lying because you don't know, of course.
I never said anything.
Blord was arrested twice. Go and find out. If you can send me a DM, I can send you information about the first time Blord was arrested and the second time he was arrested. He was arrested.
Okay, I will send you a DM. So
before you send me your stuff, would you come back and apologize if we can prove that Blord was arrested twice?
If at all this case started and it was initiated through the arrest of Blord, then I would come back and make a public. By the grace of God, I'm not too popular, but on Instagram too and on TikTok, I have got some few followers, people that believe in what I say. So what I'm saying is, if I come and you're able to prove it to me that the case between Blord and Verydarkman started with the arrest of Blord, I promise you,
so
and I'm not going back on my word. You don't know that
Blord was arrested and flown from Anambra?
Are you not getting it? They said Blord was arrested when he failed to answer to the first call that was made to him.
No, it's not true.
They said they invited him. They invited him severally and he failed to come.
Can we have another person?
Please, can you answer my first question, please? Can you answer my first question, please? My first question is,
oh my God.
I gave you the statistics of your outing in 2019 and 2023. Okay? So my question is, have you thought about going through Ondo or going through Ondo to get any point?
I'm coming.
Are you from Ondo State?
This is something I'm passionate about and in regards answering this. You get it? And I need to answer this. I want you to get this misconception flying everywhere in regards the fact that Blord was arrested for refusing. I wish people can study a little bit of law, even if not generally, but a little bit. But I need to clear this. Blord was arrested on the basis that he has refused to honor the initial invitation. And a lot of invitation. But I want to put this straight to Nigerians that refusing to honor an invitation is not an offense.
It is. If a court invites you and you refuse to honor it, they can give a warrant of arrest.
It's not an offense.
What is the need for warrant of arrest?
Please.
I will drop you if
you don't want me to participate in this anymore, or should we quit?
Yes,
Simon.
Sir, let me just put this straight.
No. I will help you. It will be helpful if I tell you what happened. Blord was arrested twice. He was arrested and brought. He was invited. He was arrested and brought to Abuja first time. He was granted bail with two senior civil servants as sureties.
Are you sure about this?
And then the police commissioner who granted him bail, they were not happy with him. When he was arrested, he allowed him to be released. His name is Uche. CP Uche is now an AIG. And the moment CP Uche was promoted as AIG, they went back and got the people who were running the place where there was no CP to go and bring Blord to Abuja. In fact, I heard that is the third time Blord came because they were trying to resolve it also by ADR. So they went and brought him and flew him to Abuja. That's the part. That's the third time that Blord will come to Abuja over the matter. And took him to court directly. when they got to court, the judge was closing. He said it's too late because they flew from Anambra. They flew him from Anambra. The judge said they should bring him, and they took him to the police station and detained him overnight. They took a video of him in that police station in compromised position. Then took him to court the next day. When he got there, Blord told them that they should grant him bail. He will not run away. That he already has been granted bail. They said no. They got him to be detained on the order of the court and adjourned for 26 days, knowing that the judge was going on vacation and it was Easter period. You don't know all these things. That's why I said, don't be authoritative if you don't know things. It's the third time that Blord and this will come out. So it's just to let you know that he was arrested because they were not satisfied with the pace at which Uche, who was a CP at that time, was going about the case. Uche didn't want to even go to court. According to him, I spoke to him. He's now AIG. You can call him. You can find out from him. So then they took him to court. They took him to jail. And then drove behind the prison truck all the way from Abuja to Kuje, just to prove a point that they have power. And that's what we are defending there. They say Blord was arrested. Of course. He was arrested 3 times. It was brought to Abuja 3 different times and had been granted administrative bail. So the narrative that you hear is, of course, what you want to hear. The narrative that we know is what we are telling you. But most importantly, before we go to the next question, and that's what Simon is telling you, there's no criminal offense here. It's a civil matter. Even if there's a violation of what they call copyright stuff, do you know that there's a copyright commission in Nigeria whose job it is to prosecute copyright infringements? There's a National Copyright Commission.